Hello, and welcome to Somerset Highlander. So one of my next projects is to put some bird's nest boxes up. I'm a little bit late this year, so it may be that nothing comes to visit. I've got two different types of nest boxes here, the one on the left and on the right. I bought actually a few years ago, but I didn't have anywhere to put them. But interesting enough, the one in the middle, birthday present from my brother, it's actually got a camera in it. So the idea is, if anything wants to move in and make a nest, then hopefully I'll be able to film it. It's quite clever. So the camera is inside at the top looking down, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's slightly higher than the other bird boxes, to accommodate the camera. And what you'll probably be able to see as well at the top, you have a sort of perspex sort of covered window, and that's just to allow more light to come in so it can film even in darker conditions. So not sure it'll work this year, but we're going to give it a go. One of the other things I'm going to do though is I'm just going to try and use a bit of teak oil just to manage the colour, just to try and tone it down because it's kind of bright. So as you can also see, I've got a couple of plates around the opening on two of the nest boxes, but I'm missing a third one. Once this is up, we're just going to have to leave it probably until September, October. And obviously Murphy's Law states that if I've got three boxes up, what's the betting that the one with the camera isn't used? But hopefully it will be. The reason I'm putting three nest boxes together is to try and encourage sparrows to move in. They like to nest together, so they're very sociable. So if we've got three boxes, maybe we can encourage three families of sparrows to nest here. We have a lot of sparrows in the vicinity, and they're pretty comfortable in our garden. They know who we are. They're pretty brave around us, so we're hoping that even though they're in the vicinity of us, they won't be put off by it. So one of the biggest issues in any garden is where to site the nest box, and I would encourage anybody who's got a garden just to put some nest boxes up, as they provide opportunities for birds to nest where maybe there's not the old trees, the hidey holes, etc. When you're placing the nest boxes, you could put them up there and a bird may not use it for over a year. They like to be familiar and comfortable with what's there. So to be honest, I'm not expecting too much, but if we get something, that'll be great. So one of the bigger issues with siting a nest box is where to put it, and the best thing to do is to put it on a north or east facing wall. So for me, that's this wall here, and then you have to decide, well, how high up do I put it? And that all depends on the type of bird you hope to attract. I'm hoping to either attract blue tits, great tits, or house sparrows. To do that, you need to have between 1.5 and 4 meters off the ground vertically. So I'm planning to put some nest boxes up just under the second window here. That's just below 3 meters. The other two main factors you have to think about when you're siting a nest box. The first one is most birds prefer a clear line of sight to and from the nest. Therefore, obviously, just to make sure there's no predators lurking around. So make sure it's a clear flight path for them. And the second thing, and this is the other thing I'm not quite sure about with where I'm going to place these nest boxes, is not to have them opposite a bird feeder or a feeding station. So the other factor you have to think about with the nest is what type of species, again, determines if it's an open or a more closed nest box like this one. If you want robins and blackbirds and that type of bird, then you're better having an open nest you can hide in lower down, maybe within some ivy or something like that. And then the thing that determines what species might come in will be the size of the hole. This hole here is 28 millimeters and the larger camera box is 32 millimeters, and they should suffice for house sparrows, blue tits and great tits. So finally I've got three birds boxes up, as you can see, and yeah, I mean, it's only been up a week and I'm not really sure I'll get anything this year, but we'll see. You never know. Maybe it just needs a bit more cover and for the birds to get more used to it. But the one in the middle is the one which has the camera. I haven't seen any birds at all actually suss it out, but I think probably what's putting them off is the scaffolding I've got here at the moment. Small problem with Storm Eunice and my house. The roof needs a bit of repair, so that's been up for 3-4 days. It'll be up for another 3-4 days before they finish the work, but hopefully once that goes down, it'll make it a bit more comfortable for them. But as I said, I'm not really expecting anything to take hold in here this year. I think it'll be next year. If anything, I might be lucky enough to get something, but obviously they might use it in the interim for a roost, so we'll see. So behind me you can see the 3 bird boxes we put up. Sadly not used this year. Not a surprise, we were a bit late in the season getting them fitted. I did see 1 or 2 sparrows checking it out. I'm wondering whether they'll use it to have shelter in winter. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But it's really next year. We've got to just see if they like it. If they don't like it, we'll probably move some of the nest boxes next year after the season's over. But hopefully we'll have some visitors.